I gotta believe one of the funnest things that you can do if you're in the Puerto Vallarta area is to rent a boat for the day and take a cruise around the Bay of Banderas. We try to do this at least once a year, especially during the months of January and February when there's so many whales in the bay. So if you rent the boat, you often get to tell the captain exactly what you want to do, and we like to do things like whale watching and then maybe fish across the bay so our captain can make us fresh ceviche with anything that we catch. We then look to the south coast where we cruise into some of the secluded bays and beaches and take a swim, head on over to Los Arcos, get some pictures by this national marina area or marine park. Swim again, all the while we keep looking for pods of dolphins and whales. This is really hard to beat, and the coastline and looking at the Sierra Madre Mountains from the waterfront is just absolutely gorgeous and highly recommended. Today we chartered Captain Juan Rubio's boat, the Venture. We've been using Juan's services for the last 3 years. Fantastic gentleman, speaks great English, offers a really fair price, and is really accommodating, I guess would be the best word to say in terms of what you want to do. So you're essentially the captain of the boat in terms of what your agenda will be for the day. Obviously, he'll tell you what he would recommend because he knows where all the whales and dolphins can be found, and specifically depending on what type of year, maybe that agenda will change. Anyways, the boat is fantastic. It's quite large. I think it's on the order of about 30-40 feet long. It's got a couple of bedrooms, a bathroom. You can sit in a variety of different locations, such as up top on the second level with the captain, sit in the back where the fishing chairs are, inside the cabin as well if you want a little bit of shade. But most people like to sit up front, because up front he has a couple of chairs you can sit down on, those zero gravity ones. Plus he's got a covered canopy area and some mats where you can lay down and just watch the world go by as you enjoy the boat ride. Now this year, as always, he has his boat docked in the marina area of Puerto Vallarta. So the first part of the cruise is actually just leaving the marina. And I'll say I really enjoy that aspect because you can see tremendous amounts of condos, these beautiful buildings, plus all these really luxury boats such as the one on our right-hand side here. Just makes for a perfect way to head out for the day. Now we rented the boat for 6 hours. It was started at 10 o'clock and we finished at 4. I should say we actually got there a little bit early and we came back a little bit late, so Juan doesn't seem to be overly concerned about maintaining tight timelines, other than making sure that you have a great time. We paid a reasonable price. I'll tell you what that is later on, but the best thing to do is contact Juan Rubio directly, and if you drop me a note on YouTube here, I will definitely supply you that information. He has a couple of crew members, so in addition to your costs, he asks that you tip the crew members at the end. Now, on this particular cruise, what Juan does to make it really affordable is that you bring your own booze and food. You give that to the crew. They have lots of containers, or I should say ice coolers, and you put it in there, and anytime that you want anything, just mention it to the crew and they'll bring it out. So they'll bring out your lunch, they'll bring out anything that you brought on to drink, and they'll even make you margaritas if you brought the ingredients. So as you saw in the video, we're just leaving the marina section, and at the very end of the marina is where the cruise ship docks. Normally they can actually fit 3 cruise ships in the bay here or in the harbor, and we just saw a fairly large Princess Cruise Line ship, and it's the only one in today, and I'm glad it's already docked, because if you come in early, and these ships normally arrive somewhere between 6 and 8 o'clock, sometimes you're going to have to wait, and the boat has to stop while they back in or come in front waves into their docking space. But that was not the case today, and since we're leaving around 10 o'clock, we really didn't have that particular worry. So as you see, we're leaving the marina area. You can see the Sierra Madre Mountains in the background, and you can see there's actually quite a few boats coming in, a lot of channel markers, and something interesting, one of these hoverboards that came around the ship. You don't get to see them too often here. Well, I should say I get to see this guy pretty often. He keeps on going around through the bay, and I have a condo that overlooks the water, but I find these fascinating. I've never tried one. I don't know if my balance would be good enough, but I do find them fascinating. Now, our main reason for coming out on the boat for the day is to actually experience some whale watching. I'd rather rent a boat and do this rather than going on a specific whale watching cruise, because you have just so much more opportunity to do things. And we were very fortunate that as soon as we were leaving the marina, found the whales right outside the opening here, which makes it a lot of fun that we've got through our first experience finding whales right away. Now, I'll give you a bit of a pro trip here. If you're walking along the Malecon, you can often see whales, especially in the months of January, February, even sometimes in March, probably the predominant time. So if you see a lot of boats all huddled together, they're generally in sight of a whale. So just watch those boats, and generally the whales will be right in front of them. So that encounter lasted for about 15 minutes, and then we moved on a little bit and we found some more. But I will say, just another pro tip here, if you're looking to go whale watching, as I said earlier, I think renting a boat so that you can go whale watching, plus you can go swimming and cruise the coastline, I think is a better option for you, especially if you can fill the boat. So each boat that you rent has different capacities. The one that Juan Rubio has can take 14 people, and that's 14 people extremely comfortably. And if you can do that, and I'm sure it's probably not very difficult, if you have a smaller family, you might just want to drop a note on one of the Puerto Vallarta Facebook pages and ask around if anybody wants to join you, and then you can divide his total charge by the number of people you have, because that's what they do here. You're basically renting the boat, so the cost is for the boat. So if you know what the total capacity is and you fill it, you can actually save yourself quite a bit of money. So let's talk a little about the whales that you see in the Bay of Banderas. They're all humpback whales, but they do get the occasional killer whale coming into the bay, but mostly humpbacks here. And all the humpbacks here are coming up from Alaska and probably the northern United States and Canada. They come down and basically to breed and to give birth. So you'll see a lot of young whales actually in the bay here, mostly in January and February, maybe March. And then at about the end of March, sometimes in April, you'll actually start to see the whales start moving out of the bay and head back to their homes or the water that they normally occupy during the summer season. I've been told also that when the whales are in the bay, they don't feed whatsoever. So they're just here to breed and give birth. Now, normally the best time to see the whales, I find, is January and February, although I will say the first part of March is generally not too bad, and sometimes in late December as well. But I think the high points are always in January and February to guarantee you the best shows. And when I say guarantee you the best shows, meaning that you can actually find whales mostly anywhere in the bay itself. Now, you don't necessarily have to go onto a boat and go whale watching to see them. It's very common to see the whales actually right in or off the Malecon. So while you're walking along, you can actually see them and just watch for a whole bunch of boats together, because that generally means they're trailing a pod of whales. There's also lots of other wildlife to see in the ocean here. You can see lots of pods of dolphins, turtles or tortugas as they say here. And if you go out a little bit further, closer to the Marietta Islands, it's not uncommon to see sea lions. So here's a little short video of the front of the boat. You can see there's a covered awning and some pads where you can just lay down and lean back and enjoy the day. And they have a couple of deck chairs up front as well. And this is where we like to have some beer, eat our lunch, sit back and just look for whales. It's a great way to spend the day, actually. Just sitting back, relaxing and watching the world go by while you enjoy the wildlife here. And speaking of wildlife, it wasn't too long after we left that first pod of whales before we found some more. And now we're actually sailing across the bay, heading to the south coast, where we hope to do a little bit of swimming. But the whales are actually very popular or populous this year, and we're seeing them pretty much everywhere we go in the Bay of Banderas. And that's why I keep showing them on my reel here. I'm just showing how, as we go along and travel, that we're just running into various pods, and you'll see that all the way through this video. As I said earlier, we tried to do a little bit of fishing as we sailed across the bay to the south coast. Unfortunately, we weren't lucky, so we did not have any fresh ceviche, although the crew tried their hardest to catch us something. And that's unusual, because normally we always catch something when we're on Juan Rubio's boat, but today was one of those days. I guess that's why they call it fishing and not catching. Anyways, now we're talking about the south coast, and here we are coming into Colomitos Bay, and I think this is actually one of the nicest bays and beaches on the south coast. Very popular with the tourists, and if you ever hike from Boca de Tomatlan to Los Animas, this is the first real beach that you will pass through. On the left-hand side is the restaurant called the Ocean Grill, also very popular with tourists and expats here. You have to take a boat to get to it. I guess you could hike, but most people in the evening when they're coming out for dinner are boated over from Boca de Tomatlan here. So we're coming in here, we're just checking out the beach, and we're going to take a little swim, and then we're going to head up down the coast and look for more whales and dolphins. And we're here for a swim. Colomitos Bay here in beach is a very popular spot, and you always see water taxis coming in and out, dropping off people, picking them up, and then or just cruising on by so they can show people what the south coast is like. I really like the south coast. It's a little bit different than Puerto Vallarta. It's got more of a rocky sand, therefore it's not easily kicked up if there's any sort of wave action, and therefore the water is also green and clear in this particular area. So after our swim, we decided to do a little bit of a cruise a little bit further up the coast before heading back along the coast over to what I would say is the east side of the bay, right in front of Boca de Tomatlan, and then we were going to sail all the way to Los Arcos. And what I really like about this side is quite rocky and quite scenic. Lots of boats park here. This is the Madagascar Beach, which is just the next one past Colomitos, and it's a great place to go at low tide. At high tides, most of the beach is actually covered in underwater, but it's just the perfect place to enjoy swim if you're able to. So now after our swim, we are sailing past Boca de Tomatlan, which is a great jumping off spot if you want to grab a water taxi to places such as Las Animas, Quimixto, or Yalapa. You probably save half the cost compared to coming here or going to those destinations from Los Muertos Pier in Puerto Vallarta, and it's only a 10 peso bus ride to get here. So we're sailing on by and looking for more whales and dolphins, but we're on our way to Los Arcos, where we're going to check out the National Marine Park there and take a look at the rock formations and hopefully get a few pictures. And along the way there, we're going to check out this coastline here, and the next section that we're going to see is actually Mismaloya, and that's the bay where, or the location where they filmed the movie The Night of the Iguana, and also the film Predator was filmed just in the valley behind this particular bay itself. And this is a great day trip to go to. It only costs 10 pesos if you grab the bus in Puerto Vallarta, and you don't need to get a water taxi. You can just get off the bus. Just ask the bus driver where it is. The Barcelo Hotel is just in front, and it's only a less than a half-kilometer walk from the highway into Mismaloya. They got lots of beach clubs, lots of restaurants, and a great place to hang out and have a great swim. And it's a nice protected bay, therefore a perfect spot to spend a day if you want to get out of the downtown of Puerto Vallarta. And now we're coming up to the rock formations known as Los Arcos. There's 5 of these rock formations, and this is a national marine park, so you're not allowed to fish here, but a lot of people come here with their boats and they do a lot of diving and snorkeling. And there's something like a couple of hundred different species of birds that actually nest on these particular rocks, including that blue-footed booby that is, I wouldn't say rare, but not that common, and we saw a few of them on the rocks as we sailed on by. Over to your left will be the first cave. I swam through that one. That's the one we're going to get a picture of. I'm a chicken. So our captain maneuvered the boat to put us right in front of this particular cave, or one of the arches in the Los Arcos Marine Park. And we all got a few pictures, and then we were off to go behind the marine park into a nice, calm, quiet bay where we could do a little snorkeling and swimming. And Juan has all the snorkeling equipment, including the fins and the masts themselves. So that's another thing that you can do if you rent with Juan. Anyways, here's the last arch, or Los Arcos rocks here, the 5th one. Again, it has another cave through it, or hole through it, making an arch, and hence the name. And shortly we'll be getting off, and we'll be doing a little bit of swimming. And I will say that this marine park is absolutely beautiful, and the best thing you can do to see it is actually come on a boat. And actually there's a blue-footed booby sitting right on the rock right there. So shortly after leaving Los Arcos, we parked just behind them, and we found a nice secluded bay, and that's where we decided to do a little bit of swimming. So we were there probably for 30-40 minutes, really enjoying the beautiful green clear water, and did a little snorkeling as well. Lots of fish here. Then we were back on the boat, and it sure wasn't long before we encountered another pod of whales. What was so nice about this particular pod is that they just kept on circling the boat, and we could see them quite close. We had our engines off, and they would just swim right along the boat, and you can see their white fins right underneath the water as they went on by us. I was actually very surprised how close they got to us, and we were just floating around there enjoying the scenery and the sights. They weren't afraid at all, and I think there was 4 or 5 of them. And what was actually really curious is that they actually had a number of dolphins actually swimming with them. The whales seemed to be leading the dolphins. They would be just right in front of them, and really, really close to them, which really surprised me. And you'll see that in the video here. Well, the dolphins are right in front. The dolphins are right in front. Us here.
There's one over there.
One right on the surface.
Yeah.
Coming up. That's a small one. There's one on the left side, a big one coming up. Wow. Look, his fin is cut off a little bit, eh? Up again.
Right there.
Yeah.
Dolphins. Non, souvent les dauphins vont accompagner des ça. Il y en a d'autres.
Diving. There he is. So after about 5 hours, 5.25 hours, we decided to head on back to the marina. But in the process of doing that, we actually just did a slow cruise right along the east coast, right into the heart of the bay, so we could look at all the resorts here and the beautiful rock formations and see the clear, clean, green waters. Something really spectacular. As you get closer to the downtown, the number of resorts increases, so you can see the shoreline and how beautiful it is. This particular area is called Conchas Chinas, and otherwise known as the Beverly Hills of Puerto Vallarta. They've got some beautiful homes, especially up in the hills here. And now we're heading to Los Muertos Pier, which is just in the distance here. Is probably the heart of Puerto Vallarta in terms of being right in the heart of the romantic zone, and is probably the most photographed area and photographed structure in all of Puerto Vallarta, especially at night, because the pier here is a beautiful structure and they light it up at night, so it just makes for fabulous pictures. And this is also a place where you can catch a water taxi to the south coast as well. And places on the south coast people get water taxis here for are Yalapa, Quimixto, and Las Animas. So we are now in the middle of the romantic zone, and we're going to keep on heading north until we get to the marina, which will be our final destination. And that's where we'll disembark and end our journey. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you're looking for a charter, a boat charter that is, I would highly recommend Juan Rubio. He's a great guy, speaks English, has great service and a great price. And if you're looking for information on how you can contact Juan Rubio, just drop me a note in the comment section of my YouTube channel, and I'll get you in contact with him. And I'm sure you'll enjoy a great day on the water, just as we did. Anyways, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. And for the rest of the video, I'll show you how we sail back through the marina and into our docking spot. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoy your day.